waiting for your turn, so.
Yeah.
Hi,
True.
Jessica.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Jessica.
Hi. I made it this time.
Thank you.
Oh, crap. Where'd you guys go?
We're here.
We're right
Oh,
here.
we're still here.
I don't know. Like, I got more stupid in 2021. Like, where the heck did you go? There you are. Oh, all right. Let me.
Okay, we are recording.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting scheduled for Tuesday, January 19th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. This is an online virtual meeting. Let's start things off with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could please rise. I pledge allegiance
To
To the flag
of the United
of
States
the United States
of
of
America
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
for
which it stands,
under
one
God,
nation,
indivisible,
under God, indivisible, liberty and justice
just
for all.
for all.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, let's start with the roll call, and I'm going to start on the side of the room where Mary Lopresti sits on the end and go from there. So, Mary, if you could kick that off.
Sure. Mary Lopresti.
Joshua Dykstra.
Pete Sabras.
John Kerwin.
Dave Sauter.
Paco Torella.
Dan Wall.
Brett Olbreeze.
Jesse Sharmer.
Jessica Pinnell.
And is Steve McCary on, or is he going to be joining later? Do you know, Jess? I know I talked to him earlier.
As far as I know, he was going to be on, but I don't see him here.
Okay. Well, we won't get to that his part in a little while. So, all right, that's fine. Thanks. All right. So, seeing as we have a full house, I'm not going to be seating any of the alternates, but Mary and Josh, thank you for being here. So, starting with moving on to public hearings, recessed public hearings, we do not have any. New
Right.
public hearings, none, and future public hearings, none. Regular meeting business, amendments to the agenda. Jess, Pat, were there any amendments?
None that I know of, sir.
Great, thank you. And then for the audience of citizens, is there anyone in the audience of citizens that would like to bring up something that is not on the agenda tonight? I'll ask one more time to the audience of citizens. Is there anybody in the present that would like to bring up something for the commission that is not listed on the agenda tonight? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Correspondence.
We have one piece of correspondence. It's from the office of the first selectman. To all departments, capital improvement plan. As in accordance with section 3-4 of the town charter, the capital plan town meeting is annually scheduled for the second Monday of March. However, we are still currently in the global pandemic of COVID-19, and in-person meetings will not be held. The Board of Selectmen kindly requests that each department submit its capital improvement plan expenditure request to the Selectmen's office by February 1st, 2021. This information necessary in order for the board to act on this matter at the regularly scheduled meeting on February 3rd, 2021. In accordance with the Governor Lamont's Executive Order number 733, paragraph 4, the Board of Selectmen is authorized to approve the capital plan in lieu of holding a town meeting. Each capital improvement plan shall include the ensuing fiscal year and the 4 fiscal years thereafter, and any of the following that apply. 1, present condition status of your department's capital assets, projected development, expansion, or construction of buildings, roads, parks, bridges, water lines, sewers, etc., along with their estimated costs, major equipment and vehicle requirements of your department. Please feel free to contact this office should you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Jess, this is my first go around with something like this. So do we have a procedure in place to talk about that or evaluate anything? I know we're not building any water lines ourselves, but just in general, equipment wise.
Mm, I think that most of our equipment used to come out of, supplies. I don't know the number that makes it a capital. I don't remember because we have never really put anything into capital plan. But I know that if we needed like a new vehicle, something
Mhm.
like that
We'll go into it.
we would request that.
Can you do me, a favor and pull the last capital plan that we submitted probably 4 or 5 years ago?
Okay.
And just so I can take a look at it from a template standpoint and see what was done, and then we can probably get some guidance from the first selectman's office in terms of, things that we should be looking for. Does anybody else who's been on the commission for a while remember going through this, 4 or 5 years ago?
Mr. Chairman, in the past, it's usually the chairman and staff that go over this.
Right.
Just get some input from the rest of the commission. If we're, I would say we do need a bulldozer, but other than that.
Sounds like
Di-
Actually,
Sorry.
a Lamborghini.
there you go.
All right, John.
And all I want is a large color map machine. And Lamborghini.
One
Um,
from the commissioner
There's
now.
anybody in the audience from the first selectman's office are taking copious notes. So,
One thing, now I was gonna forget. Dave, I honestly don't know how far back I will have to go to see when the department, because I don't recall ever submitting.
right. You know what? Don't
I mean-
spin your wheels. See if there's something in there. I'll drop a note to Jeff to see if he recalls anything as well too. If not, then you and I can get together for a few minutes and look. I think my most concern with is making sure that you have, the equipment that you need to be doing the job. And, one of the things we talked about was that transcribing software. Maybe that's something, I'm not sure if that falls under capital or elsewise, but we can talk about that offline.
We do have a budget that we have to go over, which is
Right.
separate than this. So that's
All right,
coming
maybe
up.
We'll schedule some time for you and I to get together and chat.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody, on that one. Let's see. So I can throw that. All right. Old business matters on which a public hearing was held, none. Old business, other matters, none. Noticing a theme here, new business, schedule a public hearing, none. New business, none. So we jump pretty quickly to the next section, which is zoning enforcement. Did Steve jump on it all?
I do not think he did. I don't see him.
Oh, my
I don't
phone
see
was
it on the
flashing.
list.
You know what? I got a text after the meeting started from Steve saying the meeting was having, I guess, problems logging in.
Oh, okay.
It says meeting is not started, but I'm not sure.
Let me see if. Oh, yeah, he texted me too.
Jess, could it be he's looking at the email for the Saturday seminar?
Hold
It
on.
very
Vic.
well,
Maybe you
it
can
very well
talk.
could be.
Yeah, but it says meeting has not started.
Oh, we're already
Oh,
started.
you're
We're-
here now.
Yeah,
He's,
okay,
he's
so
on my phone.
I've been trying to get on. It says meeting hasn't started. I'm texting everybody.
Brett's
Tell them-
right. I think he's clicking into the, because I did the same thing.
Yeah, he definitely clicked into the Saturday seminar.
Yeah.
You did the Saturday seminar, they said.
Saturday seminar.
Tell
Yeah.
him he's got to go down in his inbox.
Go down in your inbox and you'll find it. See if you can find the email from Jesse with it saying having the meeting and then click on that.
I got that. It says here, planning and zoning regular meeting Tuesday, January 19th, online virtual meeting.
Okay.
That's what I'm on. When I call there, it says meeting is not started.
You want to continue like this? I'll leave my phone on. It's up
I
to you.
just need to tell them that I spoke to the wood guy.
Okay, well, let's hold on for a second, Steve. Let's just do this. So, okay, so you're gonna do it that way. I just want to make sure that everybody was ready before you jumped into it. Okay. Right. So this is zoning enforcement, and Pete, you're okay with holding the phone up?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, Steve, go ahead and you can start with your update on the zoning enforcement.
Yeah, so I was asked by one of the commissioners to investigate the guy selling wood up on Good Hill.
That be
And he
Mr.
cleaned
Drayton?
up a lot of stuff. Hello?
That would
Go
be
ahead.
Mr. Drayton?
And he had one of his friends apparently dropped a load of wood off to him. He told him he wanted it, but he said he's not selling any more wood. He's just cleaning up what he had. But he did admit to a truck coming there and dumping stuff off. I thought I had some state statutes for him, but I was mistaken. So the property looks pretty good. He assured me he's not selling it, and he couldn't make the meeting tonight.
So
Dave,
why did he have wood dropped off?
I'm sorry?
Why did
What
he
kind of
have
wood did he
wood
have
dropped
dropped?
off?
I
If
don't know.
the agreement was that the
His
wooden-
neighbor asked him if he wanted some wood, and he said, yeah. You know, he was going to take it to burn at his house. So that's all. That's what he told me. I was hoping he would have been on the meeting tonight, but he's not.
yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense because the picture I submitted, I'll have to send it off again. This was a fairly large load.
Yeah, it was a pickup.
Timber, probably 8 to 12 or 12 to 18 inches, maybe, 10 feet long, maybe a stack, probably about 10 or 15 logs. I've seen other trucks going in and out of there too. I've seen trucks recently bringing cut timber out. So that doesn't particularly jive. Dave, I know, or Steve, in the past, we had asked that you go, from time to time and document that the store of wood is actually depleting, that he's just using the wood that's there. Do you have anything, to substantiate that investigation? Did you do that?
I've got some photos. I've got some notes in my car, but I did send Dave some today of how it looks there. Everything in front is all gone. He got rid of probably 85% of it. So I could go back to my notes and get back to you either tomorrow or the next day or at the next meeting.
Yeah, I know that because I drive by there probably 2 to 4 times a day. I know that there's just stacks of wood going back probably 150 yards back into the property that's been there since that hearing. And there's pallets that he's brought onto the property now, and kind of a huge coincidence that his friend was dropping off a big load of timber when I happened to be driving by, but be that as it may, that's kind of a violation of the conditions that we impose for this guy.
Mr. Chairman,
Do you recall the conditions? I don't have them in front of me. Was it to clean up what he had there and bring in no more wood? That is
Not,
correct.
yeah, he was not to import any more timber.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, so
Sorry, Brett. John, can I have Brett ask the question?
Yeah,
Brett?
I would just ask that if it's possible to request Steve to go out there tomorrow, take some photos so that it could be circulated amongst us, since Chairman Kerwin brought up the photo issue, so that we could see what the reality of the situation is and then make a determination at our next meeting.
I
So
think
we could see progress, week after week, et cetera.
Steve actually sent me a picture late this afternoon. It was too
Okay.
late to kind of circulate it, but and it did look clear. But my concern was that and he alluded to the fact that a friend had dropped off wood, and my objection to that was that we didn't agree to that. I mean, the conditions was nobody was supposed to be dropping off wood for whatever reasons, and I didn't find that to be acceptable. So I think the picture we have from Steve now would be helpful. I think if John has pictures of the wood being brought in or the trucks, I think that would be helpful, because I think that would show a clear pattern of disregard for the conditions that we impose, and then we have to figure out what our next steps are going to be to literally stop this. I mean, I'm not trying. Nobody wants to hurt the guy, but I mean, it's a residential neighborhood and it's a logging operation where timber is being brought in, processed, and disappearing, whether it's being sold or not. And I have a concern with that.
No, my only point being is that if we ever have an issue such as this where there's physical evidence, that we should document, week over week, what progress is being made. So if that means going out there weekly to take a photo to see if something is improving, I think that's a good course of action for any incident going forward where there's a physical issue related to a property or material on a site.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, Brett. For any of these violations, we're going to need to start documenting it, get a log for each violation and what's been done. I know that was the idea that we had with this in the beginning, was that we were going to monitor it, make sure that the stock of timber on the property depleted. So, that needed to get done. So that's a good point, Brett.
Steve, if you could send over any other pictures that you have, and John, if you could forward any pictures that you collected regarding the trucks, I'd like to, if you could get everything over to Jess. And that way Jess could put them all into one file, so we have everything all consolidated, along with any notes that you have, Steve. And I think then we need to reinforce the conversation, and Steve, I think you can certainly do that. Reinforce the conversation that there is no more wood coming onto that property. There are no exceptions. If a friend shows up with a truckload, I think the friend has to be said no. And if it continues in with regular monitoring, then we have to figure out what our steps are after that. But I think I agree with Brett and John. We should have a file documenting and packaging it all together. We have the G Drive, so it's very easy to set up a folder and put it all in there.
But Dave or Chairman Sauter, my point being though too is that going forward, I think we need to establish a rule or whatever we want to call it, where on a weekly basis, if there's a physical issue with some incident, that photos must be taken to document what is happening at a site, just as a matter of regular business.
Yeah, we can use the G Drive. That's a good point, Dave and Brett. Just open up a file on the G Drive and everything just goes right in there. Everybody has access to it. And we can follow up and follow these things in an orderly fashion.
Exactly. And Brett, the only reason I'm hesitating into the one part is that I don't know. I don't know what that timing is, only because simply we're balancing that against everything else. So that's the only. But I agree overall. I think we do need to have a more of a process where we are documenting and following up, and that way we can be able to say that we've done the things that we needed to do as well too. And it's coming up in a few of the other things. There was a couple of the other decisions we've made recently. So yeah, I agree with that. I think we have to figure out what if there is a standard and what works case by case.
Yeah, I think a time frame would be based on the case. Some cases might need a week. Some cases it might not be smart to go back week after week. Maybe every couple of months would be enough. But at least have a receptacle like the G Drive where we could put all that information.
Exactly. That works. Okay. Steve, any other, or we know what we're doing with this particular case here in terms of packaging everything up for Jess to get into the file. Are there any other things you wanted to bring up regarding zoning enforcement?
No, Dave, I'm good. There's a lot of stuff brewing, but we'll discuss that another time.
Okay.
I met with Attorney McSherry today on some stuff too, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Okay. One of the things I wanted to give everybody a heads up on, last week during the audience of citizens, we had a resident voicing concerns about New England Septic, and my direction was to put those complaints in writing. He did forward those complaints in writing, and I did send them over to Mr. McSherry to review and give us some guidance in terms of what would fall under our purview and not. I received a letter back that he's going to be sending. He sent it to me tonight. I didn't get a chance to review it, but I will get a copy of it to everybody so we can see the direction that we're going with that, so you know what's happening. So that is moving forward. And again, I want to move that forward at the pace that it should, where we're being careful about what our next steps are so things are being handled appropriately. Right. If there isn't anything else for zoning enforcement, then we can.
Before you go, Mr. Chairman, just one question.
Sure.
There's litigation involved in that, is there not?
No, the litigation is regarding the appeal of the decision that we made a couple of meetings ago, and that is being reviewed separately by Kevin McSherry to address appropriately.
I just think that, considering the interaction of all this, that this is probably something we shouldn't be discussing.
The appeal we're not discussing. That's why it's purposely, I didn't include that on the agenda because that's litigation. This, what we're talking about is the complaint about the septic transfer at New England Septic. And that's I'm just letting the commission know that it's being reviewed by our attorney in terms of how to handle it, not that it's being going anywhere.
Yeah, it was not meant as a criticism, and just as a suggestion because of the interrelationship of these things.
Okay. Nope, fair point. Steve, anything else for zoning enforcement?
Well, I've been down at Under the Rock campground on Roosevelt Drive, working down there, trying to get the property cleaned up again, getting the campers off there. So I sent out 4 notices. Apparently, at the last rainstorm, a lot of debris went downstream. So, I'm down there trying to get that done again. So hopefully, I'll have some success.
Mm-hmm. That seems to be a repeated issue as well too.
They got cleaned up last year. They bought more junk in. I got a call from the fire department, Scott on it. So, there's skids, gas grills, propane tanks, just jet skis, old docks, just, looks awful. So we're trying to, get up.
Now,
Steve, I think we were patient with them last time in terms of getting through it, and I think I'm disappointed that that it's kind of repeated itself. I don't know why. So I don't think we have to take as patient of an approach to addressing this. Clean it and be done with it, and whatever we need to do to enforce that action, I think we need to do it.
I gave them 30 days 2 weeks ago. I had to go right into the fine process. I told the 4 people, trailers off there, all their garbage, debris, et cetera, et cetera. Campers are allowed there for a 3-month period with a permit from planning and zoning. So I'm telling them now to get them off. They can bring them back in, July, August, September, and take them off back for everybody. So we'll go from there.
Okay, so you'll have an update. So you'll have an update for us at our next meeting because the 30 days will be up, and the expectation is that it's going to be cleared out.
Yeah, I'll get forward all the notices I gave the people.
Okay.
Two.
I'm looking forward to that update then. Thanks.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions for Steve? All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Moving-
Thank you.
All right, Steve.
Moving on to minutes, we have the January 5th minutes that Jessica put together for us. If I get a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
John, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, good. Invoices, we don't have any, and that moves us to other business where we have a few items here. First off, regarding the Moose Hill estate requests, Jess, you and I talked about that during the week, and you graciously said you would kind of go through a little bit in terms of what you discovered and what steps we're taking with that. So could you, I'll throw it over to you right now.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember a while back, I don't remember what meeting it was, but we made a pretty convoluted positive recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to do number 3 of this 10-page letter that had all these deeds and releases and easements attached to them. So in paralysis by analysis, I kept trying to write the letter and trying to write the letter. And then I finally said, maybe I should read the letter more carefully. So once I started reading it, I realized that really the only thing that planning and zoning can do, which we did not do, is to expire the subdivision and put it on the land records, accept the Mylar with the piece showing that it's gone back to one piece and that is no longer a subdivision, and refer the bond release request to Jim Galligan. Any land transfers, any easements, any of that stuff all goes through the Board of Selectmen. I personally don't think that we have a say in any of that stuff. Or me and Kevin Condon. Like,
So you discussed this with Kevin.
yes, I did talk to Kevin because he kept asking me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting to it. And that's when I was like paralyzed with not knowing what to write. So,
So the direction that you were recommending in our conversation is to take what action?
to expire this up, I don't know how exactly we would, I didn't even look into this, maybe John, amend the motion.
Do we amend the existing motion or do we rescind the motion? Is that basic, I think, one of the questions that we have to look at?
Yeah, so I think the subdivision expires by operation of law if they've done nothing within the period. Unfortunately, though, they did quit claim the property of the road to the town.
Mhm.
So technically, they've started, it's not like they got approval and did nothing. They deeded property. So that kind of throws a monkey wrench. I'm just trying to think back how we worded it, because we responded basically to the letter.
Right. And
It's not I agree with Kevin, and I don't think we did anything with the decision to deed the property back. That's for the selectmen to do.
here, John, right here on number 3, what we did, I remember because I've been going over it in my head for a month and a half now. We made a positive
Yep.
Number 3, where it says a recommendation. This is what they want. A recommendation by the Planning and Zoning Commission to the Board of Selectmen to schedule a town meeting as appropriate to approve the granting of the following of a quick claim deed to the proposed road property and unconditional releases of related subdivision easements as follows. And I don't think that's all under our purview.
Yeah, we never agreed to, I think if anything, I remember saying, it's not up to us. The Board of Selectmen decides what to do.
Mhm.
They decide whether to return the property. We can tell them that we don't have a problem with it if they ask. So we would say, I think this letter needs to go to the Board of Selectmen just with our, and correct me if that's different than what Kevin Condon said, but basically we agree that it should go to the Board of Selectmen for them to do whatever they want. I mean, we own the land now that the road's on. It's up to the Board of Selectmen how they want to return it. That's not our decision one way or the other. We don't speak on behalf of the town with regard to the property that's owned by the town or the property that's transferred. We just say that there's no issue with planning and zoning. We would have to, you're correct, and I think with regard to the Mylar, we can find by operation of law that the subdivision is expired. But I didn't look in and I didn't research that particular issue if that's a substantial step that where they deeded the road already to the town. If that's, if you start a subdivision, you do, you block out a couple of lots and then it goes belly up. That's not the same as the subdivision expiring for lack of any development. Did Kevin say anything about that?
Well, if you go to page 2 of 4, I don't know if you all have this in front of you. I felt that a separate letter should have been sent to planning and zoning after reading all this. But on page 2 of 4 there, it says, at the upcoming Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is our request that the following actions either be taken or recommended by the commission. Approval for the recording of the revised map. And then it goes on, approval of the recording of the easement. And that's like, we are not recommending those things, right?
Not to cut you off, Jess, but the way this letter is drafted, this is some attorney that's making a lot of money, who's leaving us with a lot of questions. How about we send it back to them and say, take a look at our regs, tell us what you want to do and what we can lawfully do. It's not our job to figure out how to fix this guy's subdivision after it went, after it expired. And I think it's probably better for the Board of Selectmen to deal with this and the town attorney to deal directly with them, because I have a concern that, okay, we give them back the road and then they turn around and decide they want to put a cement factory in there or something. We don't have to give them back the road, I don't think. So that's something that maybe the Board of Selectmen and the town attorney want to get directly involved with the property owner and their attorney. I think all we have to do once that decision is made by the Board of Selectmen, and Dave, jump in if you think I'm overstepping.
No, I think you're fine.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, if I could, that when I couldn't decide what to send to the Board of Selectmen, I started drafting an email to this attorney saying, please send a separate letter to planning and zoning with the requests that are under, that planning and zoning can actually, it didn't sound that, smart, like I just said it, but I would have taken a little more time. But then I was like, maybe don't, go there yet, Jess. Because I feel like it was very confusing and they were trying to get us to do a lot of stuff to make it go smoother, more smoothly for them. And I don't know if you guys I'm assuming you don't feel comfortable doing any of these recommendations.
I think from the beginning.
You made a very good point, Jess. I'm sorry, John. You made a very good point, Jess. Actually, then my thinking is that taking John's point in terms of sending it back and coming back with something different for, better instructions and a better letter. Do we have our land use attorney talk to their attorney to put together what they need? And that way it's the right people are talking to the right people and we aren't going to get back into this.
And
I'm sorry, Jess. Dave, just to answer, I think we need the input though of the Board of Selectmen to see what they want to do with terms of, George might say, why are we giving this property back? Yeah, or he might say, no, we have to. I don't know if there's some kind of legal requirement that we return the property, what the warranty and so yeah, I think the land use attorney, the Board of Selectmen as well, though, need to be involved in this discussion between, what's the name of this? Secor, Cassidy and McParland. So yeah, it has to go back and let them work it out. They'll tell us what we need to do, just like when, with that appeal, Kevin Condon told us you have to, approve
Right.
this. This isn't for us to decide what we have to do. That's not our purview.
My only concern is handing this letter to the Board of Selectmen or Kelly and saying, look here, this letter is so convoluted that we're giving it to you to figure out, and then you get back to us with what you would like to see us do. Do you know what I mean? To me,
Yeah.
it's for such a huge issue, I feel like it needs to be a little bit more cut and dry. But
Yeah,
whatever you guys want me to do.
I think it'd go to Kevin Condon, who would, he's going to represent the selectmen in this regard, and he'll have to talk to George. There's a couple of alternatives that this Board of Selectmen might do, and that's going to determine how Kevin goes back, or either Kevin McSherry or Kevin Condon goes back to this attorney to discuss. This is like the deal for a purchase and sale. They've got to do
Right.
some horse trading, I think, first before we get involved.
Okay, because when I talked to Kevin, his question to me was, did you send the letter to the Board of Selectmen yet? Did you send the letter to the Board of Selectmen yet? So I think he expects to get something from us, because that is how, not with land transfers, but like an 8-24 from, driveway variances, all that kind of stuff. We usually make some kind of recommendation, like even a road acceptance, we recommend to them. So it seems like they want some kind of recommendation from us, and they're waiting on this letter from me. And that's where I was getting stuck, because Do you understand? You know what I'm
No, I
saying?
understand your point. I
Right.
just don't know if anyone has any idea of what type of recommendation we would make, other than, somebody contact them and see what they want to, do. Does the town really want to give this road back that we own now? And again, that's not for us to decide. So
Mhm.
at this point, it's really, we have no recommendation until they decide what they're going to do.
So
Yeah.
something simple that I could
Yeah.
probably do in 5 minutes. Okay.
That,
All right.
that might be the best solution is, at this point, please see this letter and take it under advisement. We don't feel it's appropriate to make that the recommendations that the attorney requested, and you can fill in his name,
Mhm.
were appropriately those, the decisions to be made by the Planning and Zoning Commission and require the input of the Board of Selectmen first.
That's good.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
Dave, with your permission, maybe we can kick it to Kevin McSherry just to take a look at and see if there's any requirement that we have to give the road back. And that's something that requires a real detailed knowledge of planning and zoning law. He might say, we're required by law to give it back. I can't think of any reason why we could, but just to be safe.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Again, getting Kevin involved. If it means Kevin talking to Kevin
Yeah.
and
Get the Kevin-
facilitating that, I think that's probably going to be in everyone's best interest and us trying and do guesswork with it. So no, I think that's a great point. Make a note about giving the road back as well too. Okay. All right, that was a fun one. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you. It's only been torturing me since
I know,
beginning of
we've
December.
been talking about it for a little while. The other part, another business is regarding the Riverview subdivision. Again, that was something I said I had passed everything over to Kevin McSherry to respond back to their attorney. Again, he sent me a draft of his communications tonight. I have not had a chance to review it, and he couldn't be at the meeting tonight. So I will take a look at that and make sure that it covers our points that we wanted to make sure were included from the commission's standpoint, and then he can reach out to the attorney. So that's moving along. Was there any other business that commission deems necessary they wanted to bring up for the meeting?
Yeah, Dave,
Okay, Pete, we'll go Pete first. I'm looking like the Brady Bunch across the top here. So it's gonna be Pete, then Jess, then Pat.
all right, just got a fast one. That sign that's on 67 again, that Trump sign with the stop stealing on it. They asked me to bring that up to you guys again to see if we can have it removed. Past voting times, past election.
I've seen a number of political signs for both parties still up around town all over the place, and I don't know how you deal with one and not deal with all of them. And I think I'm also concerned about, their First Amendment rights, and things like that in terms of people wanting to display something on their property. I'm not sure. Does anybody have any thoughts, regarding that?
Is it on private property?
I think what John said last time was the way to go. We referred to Kevin Condon.
I mean, if it's on private property, you can have a sign, and as long as it's not a detriment or in a sight line or something like that, I could put a sign of Betty Boop on my lawn and leave it there. And if somebody doesn't like Betty Boop, that's too bad,
Oh, that's what I can tell them. Then they'll get off my back. I'll just tell them that, that he can have a sign there.
as long as they own the property where the
Yeah.
sign is.
I don't know if he owns it or not. It's on 67 across the street from that Memorial Park. I think you don't know.
I think I know the house. I've driven by it.
I know
driven
it's
by
one. It's a large sign, but I
Yeah.
believe it is on his property.
Yeah,
Chairman Sauter.
I think there's certain restrictions. You can't put up a sign that says, I'm going to open up a business, or we have restrictions,
Mhm.
but there's always an interplay with the First Amendment.
Yeah.
And
Chairman Sauter.
technically, we might want to
Right.
keep things going for a while, just, there's still an active, the inauguration isn't until tomorrow, so maybe it might not be the best time to approach this. We wait a while.
Especially in Oxford.
Yeah,
Brett, you had a question about that?
Well, no, the only point I was going to make is to Commissioner Zabras. as far as telling this person that it's okay, I would just say that, that's from your perspective, it's okay, but not from the commission's perspective, because it's not necessarily a
couldn't do
decision that
that.
the commission is making.
I couldn't do that because coming from the Democratic Party.
Well, no,
I agree with it.
no, I
You know,
understand.
I agree with the Trump sign.
No, I get that.
I
All I'm
will
saying-
pass it on to them that I did bring it up to you guys, and if they have a problem, to submit it to you. And
Yeah,
I thought, you might want to talk to the attorney about it, see
Yep.
what he got to say. So this way I can pass it back to them and get it off my back.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Pete, one other thing here, we have a complaint process where they can put it in writing and we can take a look at it. And, I wanted to start encouraging people to getting these in writings instead of coming to us individually and phone calls or whatever. If we're gonna have a documentation trail like we were talking about, then we need to encourage it across the board. So if they're still concerned, they can access the form on the website and submit it.
Well, I think they did to Steve already more than once, so.
And while we're at it, my neighbor has a big Biden sign strung between two trees. I mean,
Yeah, I know. They're gonna come up there and put another one there, they said.
good for him. Good for him. I don't care.
All right. Thanks, Pete, though. And yeah, if they want to put it in writing, we can then take it to the next level and kind of go from there.
Have them do it.
Jess, you were next.
Oh, okay. First thing is I did tell Kevin McSherry from now on, I will email him, invite him to the meeting, but it will be up to you whether or not you actually need him there. But he will always get the invitation. I want to get in the habit of making sure that he has the link and everything in case he wants to get on. So I'm just letting you know he's always going to have the info, but I'm not telling him to come unless I hear it from you or he hears it from you.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
We can control that.
Okay, and then the second thing is the seminar. If you have not gone to the seminar, because it is the longest freaking day ever, you have to drive so far and get up early. I think this is the perfect time to do it. Sitting at home, putting your video on and stuffing your face or drinking your wine or whatever you want to do. They'll send you the book that I consider like a Bible. And I really, really, even if you walk around the house with your headphones on and listen to some parts and not all of it, you'll get the book. And I think it's really, really good. I really think it's a Saturday well spent at home. Maybe it'll be snowing or something and you can light a fire. I don't know. I just really think that this is a good opportunity for everyone to attend, because I know it's hard for people to go on a Saturday or want to have the motivation to go on a Saturday.
And this is fully reimbursable for anybody that does sign up.
Yes, we usually pay, but I went online, I paid today. If everybody registers, I know I got a thing that says a receipt. Once I get all the receipts, I'll submit them to finance and tell her who to make the money out to.
Okay, and I missed the one last year, so I do want to make this year's one. So if anybody else can make it, I think that'd be great. I would highly encourage it, especially because the town that would be picking up the expense of it, and we can all makes us stronger as a commission. So hopefully you'll be able to free up some time to be able to do it. Thanks.
And you get a free book.
You
do.
get a free book.
You do.
Pat, you're next.
I'm good. I'm good. I want my bulldozer.
You want your bulldozer? Okay. Capital plan. I'll make a note. Anybody else? I can't see everybody's faces, but is there anybody else that wanted to bring up anything for the commission to discuss? Okay. Hearing none. I think the last thing on here is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Zach? Second. All those in favor?
Who seconded?
Me.
I did.
Pete.
Jeez,
He beat you by a hair, John.
All right.
next time.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Bye.
Opposed? Didn't think so. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks
Good
for
night,
everything.
All
everyone.
right, guys, have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
everyone.
Jess,
Yeah.
um,